Will the keeper of the flame please bring forward the Christ candle? Namaste.
Good morning, beloved of God. Right where you are at this moment, the light of Spirit shines through you. Infinitely loved by God, you are the light of the world. I am Donna, and I welcome you to Unity Spiritual Center of Waco this morning. Quick reminder to silence cell phones. Please stand as you're able and join us in our congregational song.
I was spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Flowing like a river of peace, I am nature's wondering child. Love cannot be added to me. Complete in the divine. I am spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. As I'm choosing my way, there's a voice inside to guide me along. I am spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led.
Let us say together our vision, mission, and core value for today. Our vision, to awaken an awareness of spirit in our lives through modern application of ancient wisdom. Our mission, raise consciousness, transform lives, heal the planet, one person at a time, beginning with me. And our core value for today is oneness. We are all one in God and experience the interconnectedness of all life. Any need to do daily work?
The daily words for today are world peace. Around the world, so many souls are joining me in prayer for peace. While the news may give more attention to points of conflict, there is a striving and yearning in the human heart for peace. My prayer supports that desire and strengthens the bonds of love that lead to greater harmony. I begin my affirmation of world peace with a soft and open heart. I'm comforted as I realize the advances the world's people have made over the generations to live together harmoniously. I make an effort to live a more peaceful life and bridge the gap of understanding between myself and those around me. I focus my attention upon our shared desire, a peaceful world of cooperation and goodwill. This is my heartfelt prayer. And from Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. And our affirmation for today, which I'll say and then we'll say together, I rest my heart in the peace of God. I rest my heart in the peace of God.
Thank you, Lucinda, and thank you, Penny and Donna. This is a time in our service when we have a chance to get up and greet one another with a handshake or a hug. So let's do that right now.
I love your work for the day. Hey you Junior. Hi.
Hey, Six, what is he to say?
Y'all know I love this one because this is the one I call the duet song because, you know, you get homework on this one. So, as you remember, we sing Holy, Holy, Holy a bunch of times at the end, right? We sing it, we sing it like 12 times, but we sing it in blocks of 4. So I'm going to sing the first 2 with you, then I'm going to divert, and I want you to hold on to those holies. Now, I know we got people in the congregation that has already done this. I'm looking at you, Donna. Yeah, who? Donna what? So you know what to do, but I'm just reminding you. Okay, hit it.
I want to see feel your presence in my heart, knowing all your love and your glory. Feel your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To feel your presence in my heart, knowing all your love and your glory. Feel your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. To feel your presence in my heart, knowing all your love and your glory. Feel your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to know you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to know you. Now hold on to those voices. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I want to know you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I want to know you.
Well, good morning again, and a very good morning to all of you who are joining us on live stream. We are so delighted to have you, and all of you here as well. I am Reverend Margot Ford, and I welcome each of you to Unity Spiritual Center of Waco today. Together we affirm and celebrate our unity, our oneness with each other, our oneness with all that is, and our oneness in God. We know that your presence is essential, for each of us is a unique aspect of the energy that expresses as Unity Spiritual Center of Waco right here and right now. And we know that no one is here by accident or coincidence. As we remind you each week, Unity is a New Thought denomination, and yet New Thought is nothing new to the world. It is, in reality, a synthesis of the greatest concepts from the minds and hearts and spirits of humankind across the ages. The laws of Moses, the love of Christ, the ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, and the 5 pillars of Islam, along with the deep spiritual realization of the Hindus, all find an exalted place in the philosophy of unity. In unity, we believe that all people are created with sacred worth, regardless of culture, ethnicity, sexual orientation, creed, and we know that neither God nor unity leaves anyone out. So let us join together now in a time of prayer. Eternal presence, God of all that is, as we come together this morning, we have open hearts, filled with love, compassion, joy, and peace for ourselves, and to extend that out to bless one another and the world. How grateful we are for this day, for our life, and for all that blesses us in so many ways. Our family and our friends, our pets, and the beauty that surrounds us everywhere. We are filled with awe and gratitude for all that is. As we came here this morning, we saw that the trees are bare, and it's that time of the year when it looks like everything is no longer alive, and yet it is. And soon new life will spring forth everywhere. And we know that each and everything has a beginning and an end except for you. You are the life and the love and the beauty of all that is. We hold in our hearts all who have asked for prayer, for healing, for health, for prosperity, for comfort and support. And this morning we especially hold the Landos family in the light, surrounding them in our love, our comfort, and our support. As we approach the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. and the day of racial reconciliation, we affirm the vision that Martin Luther King held, that there would be inclusivity of all, that all would be valued, that no one would be left out. We also allow ourselves to envision with great passion, great commitment, the leaders of this country and all countries of the world being inspired by your divine presence within to come together in a spirit of harmony and cooperation so that there may be peace everywhere. We affirm that each person who is afflicted by war or physical challenges is being held in the light of your protection, your love, and all is well, even when it does not appear that way to any of us. We remember that it is written that when the disciples asked Jesus, "Lord, how shall we pray?" that Jesus said to them, "Pray like this." And together we say the Lord's Prayer as translated from the Aramaic. Infinite presence, which is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. You let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, the song, and the praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Each of us is the light and love of God, spiritual beings having a human experience. You are God's beloved, and we embrace you today. This is the time when we bless our children, and when we have children present, it's wonderful to warm our hands up and to bless all of them. But we think that it is appropriate that when we don't have children present, that we address the children of the world and that we say something slightly different, which we have on the screen. So when children are not present, we still rub our hands together with get nice warm energy and vision children of the world and hold our hands up and we say, children of the world, we love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you.
Well, today's special music is special in a couple of ways, besides just being the title, special music. Oh, why do I need this? Ugh, weird. Anyway, the performance track is one I made from a video it was the second video I ever made when COVID had us shut down and we were all terrified and, kind of fawning. And I asked my wonderfully talented and kind-hearted stepbrother, Will, if I could hire him to create a guitar track for me. He said, no, your money's no good here, I'll do it for free. And I sent him the music and he just, my sister-in-law held the camera and all that stuff. And so this performance track is actually taken from that video. It's almost 3 years ago now, if you can believe it. And so you'll hear him counting off for me. Thank you, Will. And at the end, one of my favorite things is you'll hear him kind of smile. So the audio itself is, of course, the guitar playing is flawless, but the quality of sound's not great. It's a little hissy, but who cares? My stepbrother is still caring about me. So whenever you're ready, Alice. Hold still. The breath of heaven longs to find you. Hold still. Let it quietly remind you that somewhere in the midst of all the noise lie heart, soul, and purpose of voice. And our hope is born of essence in each tiny choice. And the choosing is a power all its own. Hold still. In the now of ever after, hold still. May your passion be your laughter, for love lays its radiance all around, and love seeks to loosen all things bound, and love reaches deeper than you may be found, and the mystery of it all may still elude, but I can see it plain as day in you. Hold still. In your breathing, in your vision, hold still. May your bliss become your mission, for chaos is just something we create. Forgiveness always seeks to liberate. Could it be that joy is as much our fate as any other power to which we yield, as any other path to be revealed? Hold still, hold still. Thank you.
As always, wonderful, Lucinda. Thank you. This box is empty. But I want to tell you about a time when it wasn't. It happened several weeks ago on one of the coldest days we've had all year. Actually, the temperature was in single digits. And suddenly, I noticed that my cat, Francis, had brought in a bird. Naturally, I was chasing him all around to try to get him to let go of the bird, which he did, and fortunately, I was able to scoop him up in my two hands. Now what? I thought. So gently, I carried him in my two hands and went into the guest room where I had some boxes, found this one, and put him in that box and closed it up, put it on the bed, and closed the door so that Francis wouldn't come in and discover it. But then what? Now it's in this box, but I know nothing other than the fact that as I looked around my house, there were those tiny insulating feathers, those downy feathers that keep a bird warm on a cold day. And I didn't know if it was still able to fly, and so I was very conflicted about, what do I do now? Well, I gotta tell you, this is not the first time that something like that happened to me. When I was in seminary the first year, and I think I've told you this before, that I shared an apartment with a woman, Donna Little. We lived in an apartment on the second floor, but we loved to feed the birds, so we had multiple feeders out there. If you know anything about Kansas City, you know that it gets a fair amount of snow every year. So sure enough, one day when I went out to look at the feeders and make sure that they didn't need replenishing, I looked on the balcony floor, and there was a little bird that looked like it was dead. And I had great compassion for this little bird, and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I couldn't think of anything else but to bring it in the house, and again, put it in a box. But there's a conflict there. I mean, do I keep it safe? What is that bird feeling? He's in an unfamiliar situation, doesn't know what's going on. He has no defenses or no understanding of what to do in that situation. So after about an hour or so, I decided that the best thing to do was to release it. And if it could fly, it was okay, that would be wonderful. And if not, I had done the best I could. But I knew in that box he was really frightened and in an unfamiliar situation and dark captivity and so forth. So anyway, I picked up that box, opened the patio door, walked out, opened the box, and as soon as I opened the box, off he flew. And Donna and I stood there and clapped. We were so happy that it was perfectly fine and it would survive. And we laughed together as we engaged in a fantasy conversation between this bird that we had just released and his friends in the woods. We imagined that this bird was telling his friends how he'd been captured by some fearsome giant, placed in dark captivity, and never expected to taste freedom again. That little bird had no way of knowing that all along it was actually being protected and lovingly cared for during the ordeal that it experienced. Haven't we all had similar experiences. Maybe we've never been placed in a box, literally, but we may have felt that we were captive in some situation in our lives that felt frightening or hopeless. A job loss, a breakup of a relationship, a serious health challenge. All of those may leave us feeling helpless without the necessary resources to cope or to bring about a solution. Fear of the unknown may leave us feeling shaken and immobilized. The strengths we normally count on in situations seem adequate to deal with what we're facing at this moment. Most of all, we feel desperately alone. But no matter what our circumstances, we are always in God's compassionate love and care. God's protecting love surrounds us at every moment. Freedom from any limiting condition is our natural state, and God's will for us is to live in joy and harmony, love, and peace. Sometimes for us, it's a matter of trust. Trust that regardless of what is happening, we are guided to know what is ours to do and how to do it. So what of the bird that I had placed in the box that I just showed you? I had no idea what injuries it may have sustained, and I was very concerned about the number of downy insulation feathers, as I mentioned to you, that he had actually lost, or whether it still had sufficient feathers to protect it from the frigid temperatures we were experiencing at that time. There's a quiz show, and I don't remember which one it is, where if a person gets stuck, he has a couple of lifelines, and one of them is phone a friend. So I thought, okay, that's the thing to do. A great idea, phone a friend. The friend I chose to call was my daughter, of course. She is as much of an animal and bird lover as I am. And so we talked about it. What to do? What to do? How will I know? How will I know what to do, whether it could survive, and what happens if it can't? At last we agreed the only reasonable thing to do was to release it. With much trepidation, I went into the guest room, making sure that Francis was not around anywhere, and I walked toward the front door. And then I thought, what will I do if it's clearly too injured to fly? Once again, it became a matter of trust. I had to trust that whatever happened, that I would be guided to know what to do, that my powers of wisdom, imagination, and love were at work through God's presence within me. In trying times, the use of positive affirmations is one of our most powerful resources. Affirmative prayer allows us to escape from the captivity of worry, doubt, and fear. We prepare ourselves for prayer by breathing deeply and becoming completely relaxed. Then, in a state of relaxation, we begin our affirmative thoughts. Positive statements such as, God is my ever-present source. I am God's beloved, cared for and protected. Or, perfect healing is taking place right now. All of these affirmations help us release our fears and experience a sense of complete peace. At first, we may find ourselves simply saying the words without really feeling their impact or trusting their power. But as we continue to relax and breathe deeply, allowing the words of affirmation to wash over us, we begin to feel their effect. We actually envision healing taking place in our body, or imagine the feeling of God's love surrounding us as we allow these images to infill us. Our affirmations take on a whole new energy. Then, in faith, we turn the circumstances of our life over to God, knowing that all is in divine order, even when it doesn't seem that way to us. So that day, I walked into the guest room and I gingerly picked up the box. I had no idea whether the bird was alive or dead. But carefully I walked to the front door, opened it, and gently raised the lid of the box. And lo and behold, with great alacrity, that bird took off and flew over the bushes out of my sight, and I didn't see it again. And how grateful I was that it was okay. Once again, we all have situations where we know that we are guided to do what is ours to do. And if it hadn't been able to fly, I knew that I would be guided to know what was mine to do in that situation. So just as those sweet little birds were cared for and protected, regardless of how it may have seemed inside that dark box, we too are always under God's compassionate care. I know that I am God's beloved, free from worry, enfolded in God's love, peace, and protection. So let's say that together. The words are on the screen. I am God's beloved, free from worry, enfolded in God's love, peace, and protection. And so it is. So let's take those thoughts now into a time of meditation. Is something going on with the mic? Oh, it's okay. All right, thank you. All right, so let's just take a moment now to become still, to turn within and feel that presence of God moving in and through, and as each of us, remembering that it is in God that we live and move and have our being. So I invite you to take in a deep, cleansing breath, remembering that it is the breath of God that infills every cell of your body. It is the life of God that is your very life. And as you exhale, I invite you to let go of anything that may be weighing heavily on your heart or in your mind. And to just allow yourself to clear any thoughts from your mind, and to just continue to breathe. And for the next few moments, I invite you to allow my words to be your words. I breathe. I am alive. I am filled with the Spirit of God. I am God's beloved. I am God's beloved. My heart is filled with joy, with kindness and compassion for myself, for my family and friends. I reach out in love to bless the entire world, sending out vibrations of love, of gratitude, so that anywhere those thoughts and those words land, healing in its many forms takes place. I am love. I am a blessing. I am loved and I am blessed. Continue to still my mind to just feel, to feel the love that I am through God's presence within. Just feel that love in every pore of my body, sending it out, sending out that love and compassion and kindness that help to heal whatever needs to be healed in my life, in my country, and in the world. Together with others who hold thoughts of kindness and compassion, peace and love, we bless the world. We hold it in our hearts, and we allow ourselves to envision total peace, love everywhere. And so for the next few moments, let us continue to be still and to allow ourselves to just radiate love, to be the love that we want to see in the world. And now as we prepare to bring our awareness back to this time and this place, we know that we can always turn within to connect with that presence of God that is ever present, ever guiding us, loving us, the very life that we are, and we are grateful. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And amen.
Thank you, Margot. This is a time in our service when we have an opportunity to give back to the work of Spirit through our offerings and our tithes. We give in love and gratitude for our own prosperity in its many forms, which comes to us through God, our instant, constant, and abundant source. Will the ushers please come forward? Move it a little. I invite you to hold your offerings in your hand as we say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all of the good I am and have, all of the good I give and receive, and I am grateful.
Will the ushers come forward again so we may bless these offerings? All right, shall we circle up? And by the way, if any of you have any doubts about the fact that there really was a bird in that box, it left me a little present, so you could take a look at it. So we circle up.
Your hand's warm and his hand's cold.
So let's just take a moment now to look around this circle at all of these beautiful faces, knowing that each is a reflection of God's divine presence. What a wonderful understanding that is. All right, let us say our prosperity affirmation. We affirm the continued growth and prosperity of Unity Spiritual Center of Waco, and we are grateful. In our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
In love and joy. Let the church say amen. Amen.